people have powerful feelings about the traffic in Los Angeles. It says something that local officials warned motorists about a temporary roadwork closure on the 405 last year by calling it Carmageddon. Angelenos took the hint, and this weekend they're expected to steer clear of the latest 405 closure, named, of course, Carmageddon 2. That's how it is in L.A., a snarl of overstuffed freeways and commuters who keep their cool, except when they don't. KPCC's Stephen Cuevas has this profile of a punk rocker whose music expresses the insanity of L.A. traffic while extolling the virtues of public transit.
Couple of things you need to know about Eddie Solis. He lives in L.A., loves the band Kiss, and does not own a car.
Being someone who's from L.A., born and raised, and, having a few cars in my past, I saw the city much differently through a different perspective through the eyes of a bus rider.
Want to just go all the way to the back? Sure.
Line 18, Wilshire, Western Station.
Just steps from the front door of his home, across the street from a tortilla factory in LA's Boyle Heights neighborhood, Solis catches a bus that connects him with the city's subway and the commuter train he catches to his day job at an indie record label in Hollywood.
It just opened me up to little neighborhoods, galleries, clubs, bars, just everything. Just seeing what's out there, little pockets of the city.
Solis's journeys aboard LA buses and subway cars informs a lot of the material on The New Los Angeles Part 1, Through the Eyes of a Bus Rider, the latest release by the singer-guitarist band It's Casual. In Solis's vision of a new Los Angeles, people abandon their cars, climb aboard public transit, and rediscover their communities. One song extols the virtues of the LA County Metropolitan Transit Agency's Easy Pass and the urban underbelly it introduces to the rider.
And that's a nod and homage to, the people who know what you could even go cheaper and really beat the system and really steer away from spending money on gas and oil profits and all that. Is all it takes for me to witness racial tension, for me to witness illegal aliens. It's not to paint a negative picture, it's just my perspective of what is seen.
Off the bus and back on the street, we make our way past a jazz saxophonist playing for pocket change and down a long escalator to catch a train.
So, where are we now?
We're at the Red Line station, the Pershing Square station in downtown LA.
And what's our destination?
We're going to go downstairs another tier, and in about 5 minutes we're going to get on the Red Line going northbound.
Okay, let's go.
The Metro Red Line snakes from North Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles. It's the train that inspired It's Casual's signature tune and spawned a viral internet video. It was partly filmed late at night on a moving train as it hurtles from station to station. Solis thrashes away on his guitar and barks the lyrics, which celebrate the Red Line and call out the congested freeways that coil around Los Angeles.
Este es un tren del Metro Red Line a North Hollywood.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice.
The thread that comes out of the record that ties everyone together is just be alive, don't be a victim of having a car.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, the red line.
An MTA spokesman said he couldn't comment on Eddie Solis's furious pro-Metro message, but the Red Line video was a hit at the offices of Move LA.
Eddie's done a good job. Thank you, Eddie.
It's the public transportation advocacy group headed by former Santa Monica Mayor Denny Zane. He liked the juxtaposition of Solis blissfully riding LA public transit in one scene with scenes of the band raging against those notorious freeway jams.
Eddie is all frantic when he talks about highways and so mellow when he's grooving on a skateboard and on the bus and on the Red Line. There's a metaphor for the transformation, from the, oh my God, I just got to get out of the traffic to, hey, this is cool. I can mellow out.
Or you can blast the tune like Too Many People as you claw your way across Los Angeles by car, bus, or skateboard.
Los Angeles! There's too many people! I want them to go away! Even though they think they're so free!
Too Many People could also be a motto for It's Casual. Over the years, the band whittled itself down to a power duo of Solis and a rotating cast of drummers. So you may think the burly, bearded punk rocker just can't get along with freeways, with people, or his native L.A. Not true.
I love it. I love everything about it. I've traveled throughout the U.S. many times, and I could never look forward enough to coming back. The weather, the different cultures, the landscape. I was just like, you know what? Now I know everyone moves to L.A.
Solis will bring the love and the volume during a Red Line mini tour next month. It's Casual will play a different venue within walking distance of several Red Line metro stops from Union Station to West Hollywood. For the California Report, I'm Stephen Cuevas.
That's the California Report, a production of KQED Public Radio in San Francisco. Our director this week is Nina Thorson. Seal Muller is our technical producer. We had additional engineering from Danny Bringer and Howard Gelman. Thanks to Hank Hadley at KCBX. Our online team includes Lisa Pickoff-White, David Marks, and Don Clyde. Our interns are Catherine Borgeson and Rachel Johnson. Tyke Hendricks is our elections editor with production help from Tina Lauerberg. We had editing support from Paul Rogers. Victoria Malione is our associate senior producer. Ingrid Becker is our senior producer. The news director is Bruce Kuhn. I'm Rachel Myro. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. This is the California Report.
Funds for the California Report are provided by the James Irvine Foundation, expanding opportunity for the people of California and supporting the California Report since its premiere in 1995. And the California Endowment. Health happens in schools at calendow.org. And Chevron, investing in renewables, strengthening communities, and creating jobs. More information at chevron.com.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The 605, the 101, the 101, the 101, the I-10, the 210, the 605, the 101, the 405, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line.
Welcome to the 93rd episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm your host, Edward Solis. My in-studio guest, a photographer and a man of a connoisseur of craft beer and a professional in the
service industry in LA. That's pretty hard, man. Adam Murray.
Greetings.
How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me on your show.
It's long overdue. For those that don't know, Adam's work has been, it's been facilitated by really cool blogs like Cult Nation, Brooklyn Vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been consistently in-house doing all the photography, the still photography for Los Angeles Nista, and we're very happy to have you. I wanted to have you in because I thought you would be the perfect person to bring us up to speed about the bar business in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And, you seem to know your stuff really well. But you're actually from Santa Barbara, right?
Yeah. I grew up, I spent my childhood in Carpinteria, which is a small town south of Santa Barbara.
Like a suburb of Santa Barbara?
Yeah, it's like in Santa Barbara County, but it's like a little beach town. And then I moved up to Santa Barbara. I started hanging out there when I was a teenager. Then I moved up there when I was 20.
Cool.
And then, I did a little bit of city college and a little bit of this and that. Too much partying, basically. And then...
in the beach town, I bet it's nice to party there, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't get old. You're like, wow, this is good.
And they got UCSB up there, which actually doesn't really interact with the city of Santa Barbara much because it's a bit north. But UCSB is like the number one party college in like the country.
It's always been that way, right?
It's also the number one academic, school, like college, like academically, the university.
Wow.
So it's both, which is kind of weird.
So the stats of the students are really good.
Yeah.
And the partying's really good.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how it balances out, but it does.
Very cool, man.
Yeah. But, and then there's just a lot of rich kids and a lot of free time,
People that have the time to spare, like, because they're not worried about things.
They don't need a job or whatever.
Yeah, we're just going to party.
Yeah. And then they basically party through their 20s, and then their dad hands them a business in their 30s,
Yeah. Hands it over, like, take this. I don't want to do this no more. I'm working on this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's called Carpinteria?
Carpinteria,
okay.
yeah.
And that's, so that is a beach town.
Yeah, it's a bubble too. It's not even that much like Santa Barbara. It's like Santa Barbara's like Stony or cousin. You know what I mean? It's like real small and real beachy.
That's a good analogy. Was there a big surf community there?
Yeah, there's good surf. Rincon is like a really famous surf spot, and that's technically within Carpinteria's city limits.
Right.
So there's a lot of surfing, a lot of skateboarding too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So while you were there, you actually were anchored to Southern California lifestyle, surfing, skateboarding, and music, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you do a lot of skating and surfing, or both? I wasn't too clear.
I did
on that.
mostly skateboarding since I was, I think I started skating when I was like 13 and on into my 20s, and kind of still today. If I can get out once a month, that's pretty good.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, skating in car, but that was in the 90s, so skating took a little dip. That was definitely like pre-corporations and all that.
Yeah.
It was pretty small. Like we were always getting chased by the cops and stuff. There were no parks.
No free parks.
There was neither. Like, you couldn't skate street. There were no parks. Like you just had to break the law basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we started skating the same time. I think we're about the same age. I started skating when I was 12.
Yeah.
87, and I was like, the last park was Upland, the pipeline that you heard about, I'm sure.
Right.
Here. And it was like, too far.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go there,
But it was fun. Like I learned, I don't know, like kids don't learn to skate real street anymore.
It's true.
Which is fine, but it's like there's so much more of a challenge involved. Several challenges.
Absolutely. And I'm going to touch on that because when I started going to these free skate parks, I couldn't believe how perfect they were.
Yeah, no, they're perfect. There's no dirt. There's no nothing. There's no chunky ledges. You know?
Or you have to watch out for that crack or that offset, cement. And I was like, man, this is too easy.
No, yeah, we used to try to find like the gnarliest, chunkiest ledges because it was just more challenging.
That's part of the deal.
And once you get up there, you'd have to just like push it out as hard as you can, but then also be light so you don't like get hung up or whatever.
Yeah, and fall.
But now at the parks, you get on and they're just like butter. It's almost like too easy. You just like
you go in and you pedal once and you're like doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's made to skate, right?
But that's fine too, though. You know, because then you get to focus on your tricks as opposed to just like staying on the thing. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because the just to talk about society and where things are, we'll get back to our conversation. But in the 70s when Tony Alva and Stacy Peralta, Jay Adams, all these Dogtown guys, like they were skating a terrain. These pools were not made to skate. I mean, it's literally just drain pools with like 3 feet or 2 feet of vert.
Yeah, with like a little puddle on the bottom.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, like I'm gonna go and hit that, and like all of a sudden it's just straight vert with gnarly tile over. That's what they like created for themselves as their canvas.
Yeah.
Now, when to go see a pool in or go skate a pool that's made to skate, it's not really a pool.
Right,
it's
right.
a bowl.
Yeah. It's designed for that. There's like, a specific amount of vert, and it's like everything is kind of just designed for like a smoother experience, which again is fine. But like, I kind of miss like the creativity of street skating where you're actually like
looking,
cruising around, finding spots, and then you try to do as much as you can. Someone kicks you out, you got to run, you got to do whatever. That's like half the thrill,
Exactly. I remember one time me and like 2 friends managed to carry a parking block like 3 blocks, and then we're determined, like it was like when you push it, it's like it comes off the bolts.
Right.
We picked it up and we put it on our board and we took it to like this little bank.
Nice.
And put it on top.
Do little stalls up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like there's so much that went behind creating your spot.
We would like a curb, like a decent red curb would be like a skate spot.
Like, whoa, like the whole day.
Like, yeah.
Like this is our day right
And
now.
then you can work on all your stuff. And then, later if you find a bigger ledge, you've practiced your tricks on the smaller curve or whatever, and you can try to take them to the big one.
Yeah, take it to the big one. Absolutely. So, did you? You've done a lot with photography. Did you install that into your life when you were in Santa Barbara?
Kind of. I started getting into photos, like, operating a manual camera and all that when I was probably like 14. My aunt gave me my first. It was this old Pentax 35 millimeter camera. So I started messing with that, and I just got into it right away. I honestly just thought it was cool to look through the lens and like focus on stuff. I just thought that was cool. I don't know. And so I was taking photos for a long time, like, through my teens and stuff, just to my friends and just hanging out or whatever. And then when I got to LA, when I turned 25, I was like, well, I got to like pick something to like do, like, focus on in life in general or whatever. Right. So I was like, I'll go to photo school in Santa Monica. And then I started doing that, and that was good. And I got pretty busy. Like halfway through school, I was getting jobs like
Santa Monica City. Cool.
SMC. They have like the best photo program. It's almost like unfair. Like they brag about it and stuff because like it's better than most private photo schools and stuff. Like
and
they put a lot of money into it because it's still Santa Monica, so that city has a lot of money.
Right.
And they get a lot of money.
And a lot of the entertainment industry is there, and I'm sure,
Yeah, and all the teachers are just old pro guys and stuff,
That's awesome.
And they had like the biggest like wet like printmaking, like a chemical lab. They had like the biggest one around, and they kept it for the longest. Like by the time I was going there, like most other schools are already going digital, but we're keeping our lab because like you guys need to learn the real way.
It's like going to a sound engineering school to record bands.
Yeah.
Like they have their a real Neve board.
Yeah, exactly.
And with reel to reel.
But then I'm sure plenty of other schools just have Pro Tool. Like you just have a laptop and that's it. And it's like that's fine. You can learn how it works, but like you need to get that real immersive education. Where you like understand like why it works.
Absolutely, man. Wow, that's interesting. So Santa Monica City College.
So yeah, so I never even finished the photo program because I started getting busy. Like I was booking jobs, like doing like just like for hire stuff, like fashion, shooting jewelry and stuff like that.
Okay,
which was cool, but it wasn't really like super stimulating to me. It was like nice because I was
making a living through or creating money through something you want to do.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is great. I'm like becoming a photographer. But then at the same time, I was like, oh, but it's like kind of boring, like the stuff I'm shooting. You know what I mean? So then eventually I got into shooting bands just because like I already liked going to shows, and I was constantly listening to music and nerding out about it. And then like I started, a few of my buddies were in bands. So I would go to their shows and just shoot and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this is fun.
What were some of those first bands?
Oh, probably no one you've ever heard of. They're like my close buddies. Like there's a band like this band War Tapes. Hey guys, I know you're not together anymore, but you're out there somewhere.
Send them the archive link out there.
Yeah, right. And there's an old band Suicide Club that was really cool. And these are all my buddies. So I was just kind of going to their. It was all kind of like new wave, kind of like gothy, punky stuff or whatever. So I was going to their shows and stuff, and basically learned how to shoot live stuff because it's pretty difficult, So I was kind of figuring that out. And then I became friends with Martin,
Right.
DePedro, and he was promoting tons of metal shows at the time. So I'd go to all of his shows.
So by hanging out with him, you were like, okay, well, he's doing like at least one show a week.
And that kind of immersed me into like the whole metal world and stuff like that, which I really liked. I mean, I was already listening to the music, but, I wasn't as aware of like there was like such a strong like underground little scene happening in LA and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I am today. And like, it doesn't pay as well as the fashion stuff, but like it's more fulfilling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I feel like it's like, I don't know, it's like worth something or whatever. I'm helping people. And,
You're helping people, and you see some people that stick with it, they grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're kind of like,
grow with them.
you grow with them, and you just have that connection, and it's nice to see things blossom.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Speaking of the LA scene, you've been going to a lot of shows. That's how I met you when I was doing shows at the Relax Bar and stuff. The main hub right now for consistent like underground venues, not like the Fonda or the Troubadour or the Whiskey,
guys,
but it was like what, the 5-Star bar?
5-Star. There's a new place, the Complex,
and that's
which
the
is
old
badass.
The Scene, right?
It used to be the Scene in Glendale. What else? I don't know. Sometimes there's just like some warehouse shows or something. It's basic, like there's not much out there.
There really isn't, right?
It's basically like the 5-Star, the Complex,
and that's it.
And that's about it. There's the Joint, which puts on some good shows, but that's on the west side, which is kind of rough.
Yeah.
But, it's worth it if it's a good show. They have a good sound system and stuff.
But for underground level, those are the only two places really that are consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent, though.
Consistent, yeah. Sometimes the Echo, but they do everything. But metal gets in there, too. But, 5-Star bar, basically. Which is fine. It's like a dumpy, weird little place, but they have some good beers, and it's like, it's fun. It's easy to get to.
Yeah, easy. And it's a good location downtown. It's right in the middle. If they, it's right in the middle if you're coming from like Long Beach or Pasadena or something.
It's funny, that block is still kind of sketch, but like one block down is like super trendy restaurants and stuff like that. Yeah. And one block up is like kind of nice and clean. And then there's like the Smell, the 5-Star, and like, what's that
new gay bar?
Jalisco's and shit like that, which is like super weird.
Super weird, dude.
I'll still go in there sometimes, like if you're waiting around for something.
Would you? Yeah.
And everybody just like
checks you out.
yeah. And you just try to finish your drink and get the hell out of there.
I like how they have the sign outside. It has like rainbow. It's on rainbow and it says Jalisco.
There's the other one too that's right next to the 5-Star on the other side, which is another kind of like, I don't even know what it is, but I've never even been in there. I tried to go in once. I was with my buddy and both of our girlfriends. And we're like, oh, cool, we're just going to go in here to kill some time or whatever. And the guy at the door is like, nah, like, just, don't or whatever. We're like, no, it's fine. Like, we're going to go and have a drink. He's like, no, really, just like, don't come in. Like, I'm not being a dick. I'm just doing you a favor. Like, don't even come in. We're like, all right.
Wow. Wow. That's how interesting it is. I'm just going to say it's interesting.
Totally.
So let's talk about some of your photos. First off, when it comes to photography, do you have an influence? Are there any photographers that you ever like leaned on for inspiration or really liked their work and said, wow, I want to build off that, or that never happened?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I'm kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of photographers I like the big guys, the classic guys, Helmut Newton or whomever, Ansel Adams, the usuals, because they're just like the masters and stuff. But I don't base my style on theirs. I just like, but I usually get influenced more by people I know. And because I've been doing this for a while, I've known
peers.
Yeah. And I've met some big photographers in the process of what I've been doing that have ended up influencing me. Ed Culver, who's been on here before.
Right. You like his stuff.
Yeah, he's a badass, And then I've told you I've been working with Boatwright, Angela Boatwright and stuff, and she's super badass.
A work in progress, so we'll get to that. Ed, being a Black Flag fan, just when you look at the Damage cover, or, him telling Rollins hit that glass,
right,
and like getting the reflection, that's
and doing it,
so heavy,
and he just like, I can relate to him because he was kind of like back then. It was much longer ago, but he was like kind of the only guy, and he was shooting photos because he was there and because he knew the dudes, and he's like, I'm just gonna shoot this, and then his pictures became huge,
iconic,
and he's based his whole career on it. Like he's got, I don't know, he's got all kinds of like his list goes on and on and on and on of stuff he's done.
All the we have some mutual friends who are lawyers, and he didn't give me anything, but I was able to look at some stuff, and he has it archived. And he popped it open, and there was a lot of stuff that's never been seen.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
Or
he's got crazy pictures, like archival wise, of like Lemmy hanging out with Black Flag and shit.
Yeah,
like, weird stuff from like back in the day.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like if that was a shirt.
Oh my god! Or a book. He only has one book, but he's got like who knows how many thousands of negatives that nobody's even looked at.
What's funny is I've been hanging out with Cell, who played bass on the In My Head tour and In My Head with for Black Flag, and he's good friends with Ed, obviously from back in the day. And he told me, I've never been to Ed's house, but you probably know this. You've been to his house, right?
Yeah,
he likes to shoot pool.
Trippy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Have you ever played pool with him?
No, because the times I've been over there, the pool table was covered with like stuff, like weird
Antiques,
random
right?
old magazines
Or
and
magazines,
antiques.
yeah.
His whole house is like encrusted in collectible anything. Like he's got crazy shit in there. He's got like some Nazi memorabilia. He's got like, I don't
Antiques.
know. Like Sotheby's would go apeshit in his house, basically.
Right.
Like I don't even want to think about like how much it's worth or whatever, you know. But but he likes it. It's not like he's trying to deal it. He just likes to
He's got some cool shit.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Like
he
a
just,
lot of good antiques and old magazines.
every tabletop, he's got like, I don't even know. Like I can't even go in description. Like, yeah, like figurines. He's got tons of old magazines that are like way out of print, you know? Like crazy. Like he's got some old Ouija, who's another photographer who's influenced me and stuff. From like the 40s, he was like a crime scene photographer, but he also did some Hollywood stuff.
Wow.
But like weird experimental Hollywood stuff. He would do like, he would shoot like glamorous movie stars, but with like distorted lenses and like make them look weird, which is like super crazy back then. You know what I mean?
Way ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah. And then he was, people used to think he was like psychic and stuff because he would show up to murder scenes before the cops. Like nobody knows how. He'd just kind of like be around and show up and shoot photos before anyone showed up. And it became this whole thing. Like, what's this guy's deal? Like, where is he?
Before the cops called him?
Before the cops got to the crime scene, he'd like be there taking pictures of it. And he did this like a lot. And nobody knows how he did it.
Wow. So he knew where to go.
There's no internet. Like maybe he had a police scanner, but like
somehow.
Either way, it's.
Oh, that's weird.
I know.
That's intense. I had no idea.
But yeah, Ed's got these old Ouija magazines and stuff that like I'm sure are like literally impossible to find.
Let's talk about the project you just did for Vans. Can you talk about that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I can't,
Not yet.
yeah.
No worries.
Unfortunately.
Let's talk about some of your work that has been published. I mean, like some of the websites. Let's talk about some of the websites that have published your work.
So like I still shoot for Cult Nation, like, you know, here and there. I've been pulling back a little bit on the live photography because I've been working on the zine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cult Nation's been super awesome. Sean and Megan are great. And I've been shooting for them for a while, and they have like a huge readership all around the world, you know. And I used to shoot for Brooklyn Vegan for a while, but
Cult Nation does huge numbers now, huh?
Huge, yeah. Like crazy numbers. Like, you know, 100,000, 200,000 views a day or whatever like that. Like I can't even wrap my mind around it, honestly, you know. I was shooting for Brooklyn Vegan for a while, but that's changed. Like Fred left, and that's basically more of a New York site anyway.
Right.
But for
it's
a
very
while
regional,
they were,
right?
Yeah. But for a while they wanted to cover LA stuff, you know, what have you, Power of the Riff and like that Bestial Legion and stuff like that. But I started to shoot the first metal pictures that I posted that weren't on my blog were on City of Devils, which is pretty cool. And that's how Brooklyn Vegan. Oh, and Invisible Oranges, you know, Cosmo and stuff. Like they all saw my stuff on Scott and Eric's site, which is pretty rad. Like I think the first thing I did was Dead Meadow played at the Hollywood Forever Temple Cemetery thing.
Yeah.
And I took pictures of that, and then I posted them on my blog. And Scott's like, "Whoa, those are really cool. Like, you know, do you mind if I post them?" I'm like, "Of course." And you know, those are really cool guys. And it kind of just went from there. And then Cosmo saw him on there, so Invisible used some stuff. And then Fred saw him on Invisible, so he asked me. And then I ended up getting some pictures in Terrorizer over in London because they saw him on Brooklyn Vegan.
Oh, really?
It's like this weird chain reaction.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. I had no idea you had the Terrorizer coverage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been a while because Louise, the editor, left, and she was my contact. But still, it's kind of cool just to like have a few issues with some stuff in it, you know?
What were talking about underground metal? Like, what have been some of your favorite in the last few years? Your favorite like iconic shows that you witnessed? Was there anything like as a fan that you actually was like, "Wow, this is great"?
I don't know. Like the Mountain Bar shows were always just like
I think
nasty, just awesome.
and you know what was rad was like Martin was Martining.
Yeah.
While they're happening, he's in the corner,
He's
just
doing
like
his thing.
just like Martining, dude, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" And then like the band's over there.
No, it's so rad. But there'd be crazy shows. I think he even got High on Fire up there once. And like you see Crom up there. Coloss. Oh, see?
Did you go to that?
No. I have that CD though.
Well, they were called, a lot of people don't know this, but they were called Angel Scum.
Oh, I didn't even
or Scum Angel.
Okay.
It's Casual went up to the Bay Area to play with Revolution Mother. This is while I started Revolution Mother with Mike V and Jason Hampton with a Third Degree. And it was weird. We actually went up and toured as Revolution Mother with CKY on the Zoomies Couch Tour.
Right.
And then since we're both in the band, like on days off, we would split off into Mike V and the Rats and It's Casual.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That's cool. And we'd play shows with Clifford from Blast's band, Gargantula.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the shows we played in the Bay Area before they came down here was with Angel Scum with Matt Pike on vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just singing. Yeah.
A lot of those Colossus songs ended up on High on Fire's album before their most recent one. I forget what it was called.
Yeah,
already.
there were all this other stuff he wrote.
Yeah.
I guess, it was never released. So,
Some good stuff.
yeah, totally. So, let's take a quick break.
Yeah, sure.
Come back, and we're going to talk about the LA bar business and your knowledge that I want you to share with craft beers and at Whole Explosion.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Very good.
This is Ignacio Salcido from La Mascota Bakery in Boyle Heights. You're listening to LA Nista and SkidrowStudios.com.
This episode of Los Angeles Nista is brought to you by La Mascota Bakery, a family-owned business serving the community since 1952. Tamales and sweetbread, made the old-fashioned way daily. Welcome back to the 93rd episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm Edward Solis, your host, producer. My in-studio guest, Adam Murray. How are you, Adam?
Very good. Thank you.
Cool. Part of the reason why I invited you on is because, LA, as you know, it is exploding in downtown and other areas like Highland Park. Mm-hmm. And you've been Angelino for a while. And through conversation and knowing you, I find that you're very knowledgeable of two things: the bar business, because you've worked in that industry.
Right.
And in addition to that, the craft beer industry as well.
Right.
And I wanted to ask you before we talk about the bars that you have, working in a bar environment with all the competition that's out there and being behind the counter serving people. I just feel that it's a lot. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
But let's get to that in a second. I want to talk about what you brought in. You brought in something
dudes.
called the Dudes.
Yeah.
And I love on the top, it says better than a $1 check on your birthday. The Dudes Brewing Company. What's the backstory of these guys? It's made in Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're fairly new. I don't know the guys personally, but it's just one of the local breweries that's popped up in the past year or two. It's really good stuff. It's super affordable. We got Grandma's Pecan Nut English Style Brown Ale.
That's really cool.
Which is
that's
real tasty.
Yeah.
And they just started canning not too long ago. They're brand new, but they're it's a good example of a lot of the local breweries that have been popping up and doing pretty well. Because of the whole trend, the craft beer trend. You got specialty stores opening up and all of this.
That's a reaction to the action. The specialty stores are a reaction to the action of all these boutique craft beers, right?
But you got tons these days. Obviously Golden Road. You've had guests from there on before.
Yeah, we got great stuff, right? Did you like their stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. I drink that stuff all the time. You get there's Craftsman in Pasadena. He only does kegs. He doesn't can yet. He keeps saying he will, but he hasn't. He's a real trippy guy, real specific.
Like a total artist, right?
Yeah, totally. He drives this weird old truck, it's like a truck from the 50s or whatever to deliver his beer. He's this older guy, and if a restaurant or a store wants to carry his beer, he basically interviews them. He's like, well, why do you think you should carry it? And they're like, well, I don't know. I really love it and stuff. He's like, I guess so. Yeah, it's cool. Or maybe not. yeah.
People are like, oh yeah, take it. Oh yeah, we'll sell it for this. Totally. And I'll give you a free case if you buy this many.
And it's legit. His stuff is delicious. He's real. He's a perfectionist.
Dude, he owns it, dude. He's owning his identity.
The whole thing is trippy. But then the guy who delivers the kegs half the time is this other younger guy who's 7 feet tall. He's huge.
What?
Right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And he's got this deep voice. He's always laughing. He's like a lumberjack or whatever. And he drops off the beer half the time. So that alone is just I like to picture that guy walking around the brewery with 2 kegs over each arm or whatever, just
no joke, right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, what the hell, man?
But his beer is amazing, And then there's what else? There's Smog City. There's Angel City Brewery downtown in Little Tokyo. And probably a gazillion others. There's some much smaller ones too. A buddy of mine wanted to start, and we still will, a little IPA Instagram thing, which would only be strictly underground stuff. So he knew a guy home brewers and stuff.
Wow.
But there's a lot of home brewers that still can and put labels on everything, but they just do tiny batches and they sell them to their friends.
Very limited.
Yeah.
And it's a support system, and it's that's really cool. Let's take a step back. So when I've had some beers with you. When we had Golden Road in or we've gone places and I see you taste, you really I see it resonate with you, you have that professional kind of, that demeanor where you take it in, I see your eyes roll you're thinking about it. How would you describe what we're drinking now?
Well, it's got obviously it's nutty because it's got the whole pecan thing going on, but brown ales are always it's easy to drink. It's still got a decent full body, but it's not it doesn't knock you over a strong stout or something like that.
Too heavy. It's not too heavy.
Yeah, so it's malty. It's got the nuttiness to it, and it's just it's kind of roasty. It's just it's easy drinking basically. It's like a muffin in a can.
Yeah, you should do your own blog.
Yeah, right.
Like a muffin in a can, dude. I mean, jeez. I want to tell someone that you're like a muffin in a can.
You can use that if you want.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Now, we talked about Golden Road Brewery. Mm-hmm. They're really doing well right now. It seems like there's a lot of buzz with them, and they have a lot of business. We've had them on. How do you describe some of their beers, and do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I was drinking the Cabrillo Kolsch a lot over the summer, which is a good, pretty simple blonde ale,
Light?
Yeah. A Kolsch is basically kind of it's almost like in California, it's like German inspired, but it's like a blend of like German beers like lagers and Spaten or something like that. The old school guys. And that stuff's really good. The Point the Way IPA is like they're one of their signature ones, and that's always pretty easy pounding as well.
Right.
And then, I don't know, they got a bunch. Some of them I can't really wrap my mind around. There's that Burning Bush, which is good, but it's really smoky and kind of intense. And like, I don't know. It's like a little bit more, it's like more work. You know what I mean? With the craft beer thing, it's like, I can appreciate a lot of like the flavors in the bigger beers. But at the same time, if I'm drinking beer, I don't need something that I have to like work on. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you have like the gigantic stouts and like the gigantic quadruples, like my buddies are like way into those, like the nerds and stuff. But if it's like making me tired, like I feel like it's just like
it's too much work.
Yeah, it's like an effort to like get it down.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I can appreciate the way it tastes, but at the same time, beer's supposed to be like thirst quenching and just like
thirst quenching taste and a reaction to you. Like I feel good.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, it's cool. It's all good, you know. But personally, I like to stick with like the medium and or lighter bodied stuff. You can still find plenty of good stuff.
Right. Now, is there anything else, I mean, any other places that you could tell me about that are, you know, kind of like LA best kept secrets as far as craft beers and limited?
Eagle Rock Brewery's been doing really well lately, and they've been expanding, and they've got a bunch of good beers. And I actually just found out, for whomever is familiar with Eagle Rock, there's a place called Fatty's on Colorado. It's like a vegetarian, vegan kind of joint. And they're closing, and Eagle Rock's going to take over and have a tasting room, and they're going to serve food and all that stuff, which is really cool because they haven't had any sort of like place you can go. They just sell their beer to like local restaurants and all that, but they're actually going to open their own place, and it's going to be pretty cool. I've never been like a huge fan of Fatty's, not to talk shit or whatever, but it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of overpriced, vegetarian kind of, whatever. It doesn't apply to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this does. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I wanted to get your take overall from like, you know, coming, you know, we're going to get into like the bar industry and your experience with that. Because to me, I mean, there's a lot of technical components to standing behind a counter.
Right.
And dealing with people.
Yeah.
I get that. You know, other people on the same wavelength as me get that. Some people just think you go up like, oh, you know, you just order and, you know, you got to deal with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And know your product well. Now, the other question I had is, obviously, the last 2 years, especially last year, there's been a huge craft beer explosion. And I don't think it's going to end anytime soon.
No.
Haven't you seen like more local liquor stores even stocking more?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That aren't even like that kind of store?
Yeah, and they'll just
there's a demand.
Because they got to do it. Otherwise, they're going to lose business. You know, Sunset Beer, they opened in Echo Park a couple years ago.
You just went there, yeah.
Which is a great place. Yeah. They're awesome. And they have like this huge selection. But the funny thing is there's another liquor store like just around it's in the next strip mall over on Levada Terrace. I forget what it's called. It's not King Liquor because that's on Alvarado, but I don't know, something like that. It's a liquor store, basically. But after Sunset Beer opened, he started carrying he just ordered like a ton of different craft beer, just jammed it in there because he knew he was going to just like get killed. Yeah. And like, I don't know, like part of me think like mixology was popular for a long time and still is, but part of me feels like the beer and wine thing is just going to end up taking over because like
totally, man.
You don't. It's much easier to get a license, which is a big issue in LA.
Beer and wine only.
Yeah. A liquor license is like a big pain in the ass in LA.
Really?
It's like getting a slot in a marina, basically. Like there's like a waiting list and stuff like that. I mean, unless you like know somebody and are connected.
I heard about that. It's like a lottery, right? With City Hall and all that,
and you can schmooze your way through it. If you know all the right people and you have some money and all that, you can get one and stuff. But for the regular guy starting up a business, it's like fairly difficult. Beer and wine is easier, and especially with craft beer, for the loaders out there, you can get drunk pretty easy, and you don't have to go with like the whiskey cocktails and all that stuff to like get your party on or whatever.
Right.
So it's just like kind of makes more sense for a lot of people. There's a lot of restaurants that just do beer and wine, and there's even bars that just do beer and wine, and they still get totally packed, and people have a great time.
Absolutely. And it just seems like, you know more about this than I do from two different perspectives because you're serving it and you know it as I'll call you a connoisseur. I think you are. Right. You know a lot about this stuff. I just think that I'm always coming from like a physical product standpoint. You know, from the music business, like knowing, like seeing product on shelves, and I always notice when I walk into like any store, like how it's displayed, how much space. And I noticed that in regular neighborhood liquor stores that don't carry this stuff, they're giving it more space.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the translation
Displays
is
and all
there's a demand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sunset Beer is the perfect example, right? I mean, that's a great place. Not only is it like 2 blocks from my house, so I'm a little biased.
You can really walk if you want.
I can like walk there, which is rad.
What, 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Not even that. It's like just down the hill from where I live, right? But I know a couple of guys. They're really cool guys. And they have an excellent selection or whatever. But basically, they opened as like a retail store, right? Just beer coolers where you go in and buy beer and leave. And then they had a little tasting room with like 4 taps, 6 taps. I think now it's 12, but they started out with less. But now it's like a popular bar in Echo Park because people are so starving for like a place to go and drink or whatever. You got Little Joy and Shortstop and Gold Room or whatever. But I think it's funny. I mean, it's like they're crying all the way to the bank basically because like they just wanted to have a sleepy little retail store and now it's like a raging bar or whatever.
Wow.
And I don't even think they ever even counted on that happening.
So it was a retail store to sell this stuff. Now it's you go there to drink, the bar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old man.
How big is it?
It's not that big. It's like God, I don't know.
Did you just say you're an old man?
In a lot of ways. Where basically, I don't need to go out and party anymore.
Right.
When I go there, I stop by to get beer, and then I go home sit on the couch with my lady, and I drink it watching a movie. You know what I mean?
You're cool with that.
As opposed to like hanging out and trying to get chicks or whatever. Yeah. But still, like
driving down the street with an open case.
Totally. But still, I mean, good for them, you know. Like, but it's just like kind of funny. That just kind of shows you how popular it is. And like what people want, you know what I mean?
It truly is supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly.
There's supply and existing demand, and if they even made it bigger, I'm sure it would fill up.
Oh yeah, no, it fills up. Like you go on there on a Wednesday night and it's like packed. I'm like, what is this? It's like
Wednesday night.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's set up like a retail store, like a clothing store or whatever, only with beer instead, right? There's like little displays. It's like mellow. Wow. Everyone who works there is mellow. But then on the other side where the tasting room is, there'll be like 50 people just like hanging out. Raging. They're outside smoking and stuff and like doing the whole thing or whatever.
Wow.
And I bet if you opened another one across the street, that one would be full too, you know?
Right. Have you ever been to Ramirez Liquor?
Yeah, it's the best. That place is badass.
It really is the best.
You can get lost in there. They're funny because like the way they have it set up, there'll be like a 40 ml High Life next to like some like $18 like
22 ounce.
Yeah, exactly. And you just got to sift through all that stuff. But you can spend like an hour in there just like looking at everything.
Yeah, and as you know, I'm close to that place.
Yeah.
And you walk in there and you see people like, oh, they don't live in Wall Heights. People drive around.
No, it's like it's almost like a destination for beer nerds and stuff.
Yeah. A cool thing was there's this guy named Tom Hoppa, and he used to be the in-house talent buyer, the booking guy at the Viper Room. Mm-hmm. But he was a booking agent for Motorhead.
Okay.
And a lot of other big bands.
Right.
And, you know, the booking agent business, you know, when you have big bands, you just get paid on commission. But when your band's making $10,000 to $25,000 a night, you're making 10%.
Yeah.
And they do 10 shows and you have 4 of those bands. You're doing pretty well, man.
Yeah,
really well.
For sure.
And, you know, he's great. He's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I told him, oh, yeah, you know, like 3 years ago, I moved to Boyle Heights. And I told him where. He goes, next to Ramirez Liquor. and this is a guy who like is from Milwaukee, went to college, got the music industry job, lives in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Doesn't know anything about like the east side.
Right.
Or that far east.
And
like when I told him where I lived, he was like, Ramirez Liquor? He goes, yeah. He goes, like, I mean, his apartment's like right by the Viper Room. And he was like, yeah, he goes, I go there like once a month to stock up.
Damn, from West Hollywood? Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, and they've always been there and they've always been in on that. Like before
they are the trendy. OGs, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Like they like have like a pretty solid reputation and stuff.
They opened a second store.
Where?
In Pico Rivera.
Oh, nice. Like, they're still keeping it real on the east side.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like they don't come west.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember I walked in there once, and because you know I made friends with them by being a local, and they basically the backstory is, you know, the 2 brothers. One's in his late 40s and one's about our age in her late 30s, and their parents started it.
Oh yeah,
and cool. and but they had a few like local grocery liquor marts in the area, and so long story short, you know, they were consistent with their beliefs, and the trend came to them, and now like it's like always off the hook. You know what they told me? They said the biggest seller of all time was the Iron Maiden beer.
Oh my God, I got one. I still have it in my fridge.
How much was it?
It was like $5. It wasn't a big deal.
For like a 22 ounce?
Yeah. And from what I hear, it's like a mediocre. It's just like a lager, just whatever.
But it's decent though, right?
Yeah. But it's that name, and like the label is beautiful. I mean, I haven't opened it yet, because I'm like,
Trooper beer,
I almost don't want to. It's like
collectible.
Yeah, and I got that also at Sunset, coincidentally, because it's right by my house. But basically, they Instagrammed it. It was like a Tuesday afternoon, at like 1 PM or something.
You saw it go up?
And they're like, we just got this in. And I was like, oh, I gotta get one. Yeah. And they limit one per customer. And I got down there in like 15 minutes, and he's like, oh, they're almost gone. Monday afternoon, like nothing, just like the dumbest day, just random time of day, and people just like swarm that stuff.
You want to hear something really interesting?
Yeah.
Was Iron Maiden played August with Anthrax and Megadeth,
right?
Testament, and I went.
Yeah, I should have, and I didn't.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I actually was lucky enough to get the set times from the inside, so like I went just to see Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And I remember that day I went to Ramirez Liquor, and I was like, "Hey, do you?" Because I wanted to like have beers at the house before I go see Iron Maiden,
right?
And they were like, "You know what? Apparently." They're sold out. The distributor's completely sold out because the venue bought all the beer for the concert tonight.
So they're selling it there?
So they were selling it there.
Awesome.
It was like $15 a bottle.
Damn.
And they were pouring it in like an Iron Maiden souvenir
cup. And people were just...
Because they can't hand you the bottle.
Oh, I would like one of those souvenir cups. That sounds nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like 15
people were probably eating it up though.
Yeah, at Iron Maiden.
Yeah. I'm sure you can eBay. I bet I can eBay mine for like way more than I paid for it. I don't want to,
No, but
it's that whole thing. It's just like, it's nuts. Like sometimes like, I mean, obviously Iron Maiden is Iron Maiden, so they can sell whatever they want.
You put that on anything, it'll sell.
And it's just good.
T-shirt,
Yeah.
beer.
It's good to go. Like they still, anytime they come to town, they play gigantic arenas and they just overfill them like every time. You know?
The San Manuel Pavilion, which used to be the Blockbuster or the Honey Pavilion. Have you been there before for like Ozfest or anything or Mayhem?
I feel like I must have been there for something, but
it's bigger than Irvine.
Right.
It's like it holds 35,000.
Jeez.
Now I'm like a nerd when it comes to like numbers. So
yeah.
I'm able to get access to certain things, and I saw the Polestar concert tickets. Iron Maiden this year, their tour outsold Black Sabbath.
My God, yeah.
Think about it though.
And they tour constantly. Black Sabbath is like a special thing, right?
Yeah.
Or supposed to be, whatever. I think they're coming back again, and I'm going to try to catch it this time.
Well, yeah.
But Iron Maiden's always around, but they sell it every time.
Right. They played the same place last year, only with Dream Theater opening.
Yeah.
Same result. This year, you put Megadeth, Testament, Anthrax, same thing. It really is. It doesn't matter who's opening.
Yeah,
like
they
you
go
put Iron Maiden, it's going to be 2 nights at the Forum or 1 night at the Hyundai Pavilion.
Yeah. I saw them. I've seen them like several times, like 4 or maybe 5. I'm not sure. But I saw them in Irvine one time, and it wasn't even a cool tour. They were playing like their new album in its entirety.
And people
or
are
whatever.
like losing their
and
mind.
It's like, who gives a shit or whatever. And then like the encore was like 4 classic songs, and I think that Irvine holds like 15 or something like that.
Yeah, good.
And they sold 17,000 tickets, and they like opened up this extra like super nosebleed section, like behind the nosebleeds, which is like a
behind
lawn.
the lawn, yeah.
And just to pack people in there, and like
Isn't that
everyone's
crazy?
going ape shit. It's so weird to even look around and see an ocean of people like that. It's like they're all there for like the same reason.
I went there to see Bob Dylan in August, and it was full, but it wasn't that full.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't sold out. It was like you could have still bought seats down there.
They'll pack an arena, and then there'll still be like a couple thousand more angry people that couldn't get in outside. You know what I mean?
And those people are willing to buy like $100 worth of merch.
Yeah, totally.
Imagine, I mean.
Oh, and then the merch is a whole nother story. It's like their t-shirts are like $40, and those things sell out like crazy. You know, I had a buddy of mine in Ohio, who and he's like a nerd and he collects a lot of stuff or whatever. And I was going to go to one of the Iron Maiden shows. I couldn't end up making it, but he thought I was going. So he's like, dude, get me one of those California only shirts. Like they made a California only Iron Maiden shirt, which is a beautiful shirt. The graphic is like, it's like Eddie and he's like stepping over the Golden Gate Bridge and there's like a grizzly bear and like all of this just like random California stuff going on, you know?
They're smart, man.
And he's like, get me one of those. I'm like, all right. So someone I knew who was going, I was like, will you just get me a shirt? He's like, sure. And he's like, it's $40. I was like, my God, a $40 t-shirt. And it's not like some designer stuff. It's just a band shirt. You know, those things are usually like $10, maybe $15.
That's crazy.
And he was stoked. I sent it to him and he sent me a bunch of records and a bunch of other stuff, like more than enough stuff to compensate. And I was like, dude, Iron Maiden they just know what they're doing.
They're bigger than ever. We're going to take a very quick music break. Yeah. Come right back.
Cool. No, I got a Christmas party.
How it all began. I used to sing dirty raps to my East Side fans back then. I knew you couldn't stop this rap. No MC could rock like that. Then the new style came, the bass got deeper. He gave up the mic and bought you a beeper. Do you wanna rap or sell coke? Brothers like you ain't never broke. People wanna say it's just my time. Brothers like me had to work for mine. 8 years on the mic and I'm not joking. Sir Too Short coming straight from Oakland, California, home of the rock. 8 woofers in the trunk beating down the block. Short dog, I'm that rapping man. I said it before and I say it again. Life is too short. Too short. Life is too short. Too short. Life is to some people unbearable. Commit suicide and that's terrible. Wasn't much too much or nothing big. If you live my life, you'll be fighting to live. Life is to me my main asset. I'll be doing alright and keep it just like that. Chill out at the house and bump that bass. I'm trying to get rich as I rock the place. Everybody's got that same old dream to have big money and fancy things. Drive a brand new Benz, keep your bank right here. Never hear me stutter once cause I talk real clear. It's on you, homeboy, what you gonna do? You can take my advice and start working, fool. Or you can close your ears and run your mouth. And one day, homeboy, you'll soon find out. Life is too short. Too short. Life is too short. Too short. Would you agree? While I'm living my life, don't mess with me. It's been a long time, baby, since I first got down, but I still keep making these funky sounds. Cause I don't stop rapping, that's my theme. I make a lot of money, do you know what I mean? Life is complicated, you must stay up. You ask a simple question, boy, don't say what. You only live once and you're calling it hell. Policeman trying to take you to jail. You can give a man time, but you don't know. In a matter of time, I'll be running the show. Now another young buck wants to be on top, making big money, slanging hot. The task force trying to peel your cap. Turn around, homeboy, you better watch your back. Life is too short. Life is. Take back all the things you give, but you can't take back the days you live. Life is to some people heaven on earth, living every single day for what it's worth. I live my life just how I please, satisfying one person, I know that's me. Work hard for the things I achieve in life, and never rap fake when I'm on the mic. Cause if a dream is all you got, homeboy, you gotta turn that dream into the real McCoy. No time to waste, just get on that case. Can't be down cause you need to taste the good life. Living like a king on the throne, getting everything you want and trying to handle your own. It's your life. Don't be stupid though, cause when you waste it, you know life is. Life is. Alright, that's it.
Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it.
Can I get an eye open up, easy looking up, smoking up, much dust like a nut. What? Give it up for the real stuff. Shut the what up, back the shut up. What? Hustle from the hood, oh hopping in my rough. The finishing touches.
wanted. Ooh, a new jack, a new jack.
Get a swan saw, putty cat, back, smack. Here comes a witty black enemies go hide. I'm about to show why. Easy spilling caps, cause my cat's in a low ride. Bang when the cat speaks, two in the backseat. My homie rides shotgun, waiting to spot one. Done is a fool who don't run, duck, dive, and slide to a ride. I'm sure to shaking the place when I start, hey, so don't butter me. Easy E, but a parquet. The only thing the flow needs now to be fly is a feather. I see the smiling faces and wild places, you know me better. Hard riding kid, kicking Cali kid. Now you know it's growing up in the alley did. Now get up on it, get on it, and I will pump it, only if you want it.
Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it. Only if you want it, yes I really want it.
Welcome back to the 93rd episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm Eddie Solis. In studio guest Adam Murray. What's up, man?
Not much, just hanging out.
Cool, man. Well, listen, we covered your backstory of coming from Santa Barbara and what your environment was and how you would, gravitated towards skateboarding music and photography, coming to LA and Santa Monica College and, your knowledge of beer and sharing some of your favorites. But, LA is, I firmly believe, what New York was. Everyone I know from New York is moving to LA.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure. You can't live in New York anymore.
Yeah, well, it's too much money, and everyone's an asshole.
Right.
And you don't get anything for the money you pay. The weather sucks. So everyone from New York's coming here as well. True. So there's more bars opening, restaurants with bars, and there's a lot of intricate components going into good bar service and making people happy. You're in that service industry, and part of your knowledge of craft beers, I'm sure, is used into when you're serving.
Oh, yeah.
Without talking about, well, we can if you want to open up to it, but how much work goes into your position when you were serving at a bar without even serving yet? Like just knowing,
right?
And like what do you have to prepare yourself for?
I don't know. I feel like most of the work or the effort is almost like spiritual over physical in a lot of ways.
Like connecting with people.
Yeah, and like honestly, like behind the bar is the easier job compared to maybe waiting tables or whatever, because people always have that perception for whatever reason that like the bartender's cool and like they're always happier. You know what I mean? Like they're there like I don't know when it started, but if someone's at a table, they're kind of like waiting for something to go wrong and they're waiting for something to complain about. But if they're at the bar, they're like, oh, like this guy's cool. I don't know why, but I experience this all the time. That like he's gonna give me a drink, and like people always ask me what I do and all this stuff. They always want to know about my life, and I don't really know why, but it's just the way it is. So it's almost like more exhausting in like a mental way.
Because you're always explaining yourself. Like
yeah. You run through the same stuff, but you have to sound like you're not rehashing the same shit over and over again.
Like,
You have to, and like I'm kind of a dick. Like you know what I mean? Like inside I will be thinking one thing, but I gotta play it out on the outside like
so
something
it comes
else.
Across good.
You know what I mean? But it's like, and I don't blame them. They don't know that everybody asks me what I do other than bartending, but like they do, So it's weird. It's not like you're worried about bumming people out or anything, but it's almost more about like keeping them like pacified in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you have to make them happy, even though I do. That's like natural, right? And that's actually kind of easy because they're sitting at the bar. It's already a more relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it's like you got to like kind of just give them what they want conversationally. Like the whole thing about bartenders is true. Like people confide in you for I don't know what reason. You know what I mean? But they do.
It really is a fact, right?
Yeah. And I will be so blown away by some of the things people tell me, or I'm like, dude, like I do not know you, and like you're loading me up with like this, like whatever's going on or whatever. It gets weird sometimes.
I bet. I never thought about that. You know what's funny? I had Lee Veen from Fear on.
Yeah.
Right? And you were here.
Yeah,
we were working the show.
Awesome.
And we were talking about the song he did with the Foo Fighters, Your Wife is Calling.
Right.
On the Sound City Player soundtrack, which is featured in the film. And he was talking about where that song came from. And he was like, listen, he goes, When I was bartending,
Yeah.
there was this guy, his wife would always call.
Yeah.
So it was like, your wife is calling.
Right,
That's the
right.
name of the song.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true. I mean, but you're in an age where everyone has their own phone, but people still confide in you.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
looking for someone to vent to.
And I don't know what it is or where it came. Like, people think of it as like a myth, but it is like totally not. It's like a real thing. Like, people still. And I work at like a restaurant. I'm not even like at I'm not like at a junkie bar or like a sad bar or like a popular club or anything. It's just like a restaurant. I got 5 seats at the bar. It's really not a big deal. But people just like unload so much stuff on me. And I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around it, but I got to go with it.
I mean,
because I'm not going to create some weird situation. I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, like whatever. Like, I'll see couples fight. Somebody
So
will
you'll
tell
see
me
them
about,
like get in a fight in front of you.
Yeah. And like, it's like I'm not there, but they know I am. You know what I mean? And like, I use selective hearing. People will be telling their fucking life story or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like are you ready for your table? Like, I don't know what's going on
Yeah.
here, you know, like, but for whatever reason, humans feel the need to do that, you know?
That's really interesting, man.
Yeah. And like, some people are that way. Like, there's some people, you know, where people like, they'll be on an airplane and no matter what, the next person is going to like dump their life story on them or whatever. Like, everywhere they go. I'm not necessarily one of those people, but for whatever reason behind the bar, I am. And it's weird.
Yeah. You know, I get it. Now, as a bartender, being in the age of cell phones, you don't have to pick up the phone and go, no, he's not here.
Right.
The wife is calling, or your girlfriend's calling. But have you ever had to break up fights? Or it's never gotten to that?
It's never gotten to that, like actual fist fights and stuff. But like there'll be
breaking
like,
up, like pulling people off each other.
Yeah, nothing like that. Because like I said, I've never worked in like real rowdy type of places where people are getting hammered. I mean, you'll still deal with people who get hammered
at nice places, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't come down to like the fighting thing and stuff. But like, you'll definitely have to like keep things like cool, like keeping them in order and stuff.
Because like you notice they're ready to go off, right?
Yeah.
Like
some people are just like a pressure cooker or whatever, you know. And then also like I like to try to get people to talk to each other. Just for mainly, most of my stuff that I do is like for selfish reasons.
Awesome.
Like I'll bring 2 different people who don't know each other into a conversation so I don't have to talk as much. Do you know what I mean? or like I'll say something weird to entertain myself. Like half the time people don't even get a joke I'll throw at them and I'll be like, don't worry about it. I'm just like making shit up. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But I don't know. It's an interesting way to like view like humans, like how they behave.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, from that intuitive standpoint, it's really interesting. Now you've had different positions and jobs.
Yeah.
The competition per bar, there's more bars opening.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about, the craft beers. Mm-hmm. Now bars with a great selection and a great location. I mean, there's a lot of components that make a bar successful.
Yeah.
Up into the service.
Yeah.
Have you seen that part of the alcohol business, like the bar business has, we talked about craft beers. What about the bar business? Is that more of a demand? There's more of a demand for like bars serving good stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people almost expect it at this point, like if you're like, especially beer wise, whatever, like if you're just like have like Newcastle, Heineken, Pabst, and like Corona, people are going to be pretty bummed. You know what I mean? Like they want to see something interesting. They want to see something local for sure, because that's what everybody's all about.
People are very supportive of the DIY right now, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like as far as competing is concerned, like it almost depends on like basically the business owner, like if they get it or not. You know what I mean? Like a guy can open a real nice place and put in a lot of money, and maybe the location's cool or not, but for whatever reason, if someone walks in, it just feels sterile or it doesn't. You know what I mean? And obviously a lot of that has to do with filling it with people, because once people are in there, more people come in and it feels warmer and stuff like that. But like you see businesses like end up failing and you're like, I know, like, you did so much stuff wrong. Like, why didn't you see it or whatever? And then other people just kind of get it. And they're like, I'm just going to make this a place that people want to go to. I mean, I guess location has a lot to do with it, maybe feng shui or whatever. But, you just got to have to like know what you got to know your audience. You know what I mean? And you got to just like know like where to go with it and stuff like that.
Interesting. Now tell me about more or less, knowledge of alcohol and craft beers. Mm-hmm. I mean, you walk up and people are like, well, what's this? What's that? I mean, having knowledge is key.
The whole thing. Yeah. And like, and it applies to wine as well. I always go with like, I always ask people like what they usually go for, like, if I have like a wine list with 5 wines on it and none of them are necessarily the usual go-tos, like a Chardonnay or a Cab, people are going to be like, what should I get? And that happens like all night long. And I'll be like, well, I don't know. What do you usually get? And they're like, oh, Pinot or something. I'm like, well, try this Montepulciano or whatever. You know what I mean? And then like beer wise, like, I don't know these beers. Like, well, what do you usually drink? You know, like, I don't know, Guinness or something. Well, try this. You know what I mean? But you kind of have to feel out the person as opposed to recommending like random shit because everything is different. Everything tastes very differently. And some people want fruitier stuff. Some people want dry stuff and like vice versa or whatever. So you just got to like, you just got to follow that. You just got to feel the person out. Sometimes you can tell just by looking at it.
You can,
know what I mean?
really?
Yeah.
Can you give me the tipping etiquette from your perspective?
Oh, I mean, I'm like a good tipper, I mean,
in general,
I started 20%. If I get, I'm probably not even the best example really, because I'm like just like too generous or whatever, just because I come from there. But it's like if I get bad service, I'm like, oh, this guy's only getting 18%. You know what I mean? And if it's good service, it's like, oh, I'm going to start at 20% and then throw on a few extra dollars. You know what I mean? But like that's like it's up to the individual. But I remember like it was like 5 or 10 years ago, but there's like some Oprah special. And Oprah's got a huge audience, obviously. And she's like, I'm here to set the record straight about tipping in case no one understood. She's like, just so everyone knows, you're supposed to tip 15%. And like everyone in the service industry was like, no, like that's like not really, that's kind of like the average tip of like the early 90s, basically.
Right.
But at this point, it's got to be 20 if you're happy at all with your service.
So you think for restaurants or bar, anything?
Yeah. Either way, I mean, bar, it's got to be a buck a drink.
Is that even for a well drink?
I think so. I think if anyone's put any sort of effort into
opening a bottle,
or
pouring it on a tap,
like if they pop a bottle or whatever, it's like
buck.
If it's $3.50, you give them $4, not the end of the world. But if they put any kind of motion into preparing your drink, then you got to give them $1. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I actually, it kind of pisses me off when people price their drinks in between dollars, like if it's like $3.50 or $3.75, because then it makes the tipping thing awkward. It's like, well, do I give them 50 cents or do I give them $1.50? You feel kind of weird. Like $1.50 seems like too much for a beer, but 50 cents seems kind of lame too. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's like you gotta just draw it at the buck and like let people tip $1, like nice and easy.
Right. Yeah, I want to ask you about tipping etiquette. So basically, at a bar, whether it's House of Blues or the place you work, it's like $1 a drink.
Give them $1. Yeah. If you're feeling good, give them $2. If they're cool or whatever. Right. But like and then as far as
if I buy 4 drinks, like if I'm like buying like a couple of beers and a mixed drink, and it's like 3 or 4 drinks, I'll just leave a $5.
Yeah,
because there's some mixology in it,
Because not only do they need to feel like their efforts are like worth it, but they got to eat. You know what I mean? Minimum wage is like a serious issue.
Right.
It's like not a real wage.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody.
People, $8 an hour is not like a realistic, the tips are the money. The tip is the salary of that person. That is why they're there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I don't know. It's an issue, man. And they're fighting minimum wage right now. It's like a whole thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? With Obama and all that. They're all pushing it, and it's like really intense. And like the naysayers think that basically people are making $7 an hour right now. Minimum wage around the country. I think in California it's more, but it's because the cost of living is more. But the rest of the country is like $7.25. Yeah, which is like $280 a week. That's crazy. That's like you cannot live on that.
That's a night of party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You would have to work 24 hours a day. And then like the jerks or whatever are gonna be like, well, America's great because of capitalism. So if you don't like it, start a business. And it's like, you know what, buddy? Like it's really not that easy. It might be for you, but. People need to be making. I heard one thing a while ago where basically, if minimum wage had risen parallel with inflation since like the 70s, it would be at $22 an hour right now.
That's the calculated reality.
Like if you follow inflation and if you stuck minimum wage right next to it, people should be making $22 an hour for a minimum wage, and these guys make $7. You cannot pay rent. Let alone like eat. Other stuff. Yeah.
And lights on.
If so what, you get like $400 a month rent? What is that? It's like a shanty, It's like a cardboard box.
Okay, tell me about, before we go, about some of your favorite bars in LA. If you have any.
Yeah. I mean, I'm weird, I like the dark, weird, like kind of removed places and stuff.
Yeah.
We talked before, I like 5-star because I'll go there for my medal. But
well, you actually, like to go there. I mean, like
you think because it's weird. Like I think the average person wouldn't necessarily like it because it's kind of weird and it smells funny. You know. But I kind of like that stuff. I like anywhere where I can like kind of like hide out a little bit. I don't know where else have I been going lately. I like places that are kind of close to home too. There's some King Eddie's is fun actually downtown. You
like that place?
But I kind of like the dirt dog places.
Yeah.
You know, with the
kind of hide in the corner.
Yeah.
Drinks.
You might see something weird happen. You might
watch.
Not. Yeah.
A bunch of characters, right?
Totally. And even like downtown. There's like plenty of a selection of bars. You can like walk around the right area and find cool stuff to do. But Highland Park. Oh, Footsie's, of course.
What? That's where you DJ.
Yeah. Always a good time in there. And again, it's nice and dark and a little bit removed. But it's like you can hear some good tunes and like, you know, they got a pool table and all that. If there's no DJ, you got a jukebox or whatever.
Yeah.
I like, music has a lot to do with it, obviously. You have to either have like a good jukebox or someone who's playing decent music. Yeah, or good bands or whatever.
Good DJ.
Yeah. I don't know what else. I think that's about it for me these days. Like I don't go tooling around that much. I haven't been out to Hollywood in a really long time.
Right. Unless it's like a destination show.
Yeah.
Like we're going to go see Slayer.
Yeah.
Or, something like that.
But otherwise, like keep it dark and maybe like, kind of warm and just like mellow,
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. All right, man. Well, it was long overdue. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right. That's the 93rd episode.